Hey, my lovelies. Welcome to the channel. So if you are new, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. My name is Kamoy, and it is Wednesday, right? April 7th, 2021. Can y'all believe that? We're already 4 months into the calendar year. Okay, so it's Wednesday, so happy Mercury Day to you. It's a day of communication. You know, Mercury rules communication. The sun is in Aries, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, we are currently, moon should be in Pisces also, so we might have that sensitive energy. I didn't double check the moon energy, so all right, you may have to go ahead and check that out yourself. But if I'm correct, because yesterday we were still in Aquarius, so we should be shifting over into Pisces energy, which is already super sensitive energy as far as emotions are concerned. And you also have to pay attention to maybe transcending and moving past some stuff emotionally, seeing past illusions. Okay, you got the sun in Aries, which is all about taking action, but some of that action can be triggered with anger, so you want to be mindful to check yourself, which brings us into what's happening for today's journey. Okay, so what we're going to be working on today is no filter, and I'm going to break down what we mean when we talk about no filter. Okay, so let's just break the date down. So we have the 4th month, okay, 7th day, and the calendar year is 2021. So starting off with the number 4, you know, the number 4 is on the doing plane, right? Number 4 represents being practical as well as being organized, self-mastery, self-alchemy. So you can find yourself having to take action today, having to motivate yourself today because nobody's motivating you, okay? So be mindful of that as you're moving throughout this energy today. Now, the number 7, because we're on the 7th day, right? The number 7 also vibrates on inner. We're talking about your inner centers, your 7 chakras here, bringing those into balance, right? So you can find within the number 7, you can gain inner strength, inner knowing, inner knowledge, you know, whatever the inner, you can definitely tap into inner energy today, okay? And bring yourself into balance. Now, we do have the number 2 showing up twice in the year, okay? We talked about this from since the year started, okay? Number 2 is the gateway to your intuition. This is the soul plane, okay? The spiritual plane, okay? Got a plane passing ahead. So this is the soul plane, the spiritual plane. This is all about you being able to tap into your instincts, your intuition, love, compassion, okay? So you definitely want to move within your instincts today. Now, this is what I always say. Opportunities are all around you every day, all day. It is really up to you, the individual, right, as to whether or not you're going to tap into your opportunities, because your opportunities is linked to your intuition, okay? So with the double 2s, you also need to be mindful to stay away from negative energy, all right, especially in your inner circle as you're moving throughout the year, okay? Now, we also have 0 in the middle of the 2s, right? And 0 magnifies and amplifies any energy that is standing next to. 0 is that God force energy. You can say 0 is where it all stems from, nothingness, but yet everything dwells, okay, within that energy, okay? So 0 magnifies or amplifies any number that is paired with. So keep it in mind, it's magnifying the number 2, which means that super sensitive energies in the atmosphere all year long. Somebody's on a motorcycle, right? However, remember that you were supposed to be on your game because the name of the year was mental and emotional chess, mastering yourself, okay? Now, we also have the number 1 standing out in the year. With the number 1 standing out in the year, what you guys need to be mindful of, just moving throughout this energy, you really need to be mindful that number 1 is the key to your verbal communication. And we always talk about the verbal aspect of your spelling, your words, right? Your spells. And this is going to be playing out throughout the whole year, which means you're going to have to be mindful of what you're casting out into the atmosphere, right? What you're speaking into the ethers, what you're speaking to yourself in the quiet time, what you're having, you know, what conversations you're having with others. So you're gonna have to be mindful of that as you're moving throughout the year, okay? Now, which brings me into no filter, right? So I had a conversation with my cousin yesterday. She called, and I had an opportunity to, like, you know, take off the filter of the stories that are being told about, you know, my family and myself, and, you know, like, and really give her my version of what's going on behind the scenes, because, you know, a lot of you know that my dad transitioned in October, and there's still some things unfolding behind the scenes. You know, family and people can be very not who you think they are when people pass away. So there's still some things unfolding behind the scenes, and I feel like I'm in a good place. However, there's still people that just spreading rumors and things that are not true. And so I had receipts. So I had a conversation with her where I was pulling out receipts and just taking off the filter, because a lot of times you feel like when you're on the spiritual path, right, you have to always take the high road, but there's only so much times that you can poke a bear, right? So taking off the filter for some people and for yourself may be necessary for today. Right now, taking off the filter does not mean that you get to be nasty. It does not mean that you get to be mean. It does not mean that you get to walk all over people, right? Taking off the filter simply means that you get to speak your version of the truth, right? Or you get to pull your receipts out, right? Taking off the filter may mean that you may have to be assertive and check somebody, right? Because it's necessary for them to see clearly. Now, like I said, if we do have that energy with Pisces in the moon, and I'm pretty sure you guys make sure you check that out. Pisces can bring in like a bit of illusion, right? So today, take off the filter. Now, this is the side note, and I want you guys to really think about this, because this is important. The side note to this and why this is so important, my loves, is because you're going to have to learn to take off the filter with yourself also. Being honest with yourself about where you are, right? Being honest with yourself about maybe where you may need to level up on some more. So let me rewind. Remember, I told you guys yesterday that, because yesterday we were in the energy of no more sacrifices, only choices and decisions, and I told you guys about my skin, and I've been dealing with allergies, you know, especially seasonal allergies, for a really, really long time. But since moving down here to the south, it's kind of like beautiful trees and everything is blooming, but the itching has definitely had intensified. Okay, motorcycle again had intensified. So I just kind of chucked it up to, okay, well, I just go through this in the spring and in the fall, and this is just what it is. And this particular year, y'all, is really, really just, yeah, my skin is inflamed, and it's just really, this is just ridiculous. Okay, so I've just been doing the over-the-counter you know, like Flonase, and, you know, maybe getting some cortisone 10 and just putting it on. And the Flonase is working for the sneezing and the itchy eyes and stuff, but the cortisone 10 is not working for the inflamed skin once the pollen actually hits my skin. And, you know, so, and then increasing my water is something that I've done since we started the journey, but I had to really make a decision and stop, you know, suffering and sacrificing in silence to actually reach out to see if I can go see somebody that can tell me exactly what I can do, whether it's something holistic, or, you know, I really, you know, maybe get some allergy testing done to see exactly what it is I'm allergic to, right? So with that being said, I made a decision that I was not going to suffer or make any more sacrifices as far as my skin is concerned and as far as my allergies is concerned. And I did. I reached out. I got 3 different numbers, so I am going to be following up with the different doctors today to see if I can get an appointment. The lady was gracious enough. And now, mind you, this was after literally reaching out several times to my insurance people, which was giving me numbers that wasn't working, which was giving me doctors that wasn't taking new patients. And I finally got in touch with someone that was kind enough to sit and look through her system and give me 3 different doctors that I can reach out to, right? So the moment that I took control of that situation and say that I was not going to sacrifice anymore, the moment that I took control and say to myself that I was not going to sacrifice anymore, right? And I pushed through that because, you know, I didn't get frustrated. I didn't yell, and I wasn't nasty when I had to call the insurance company back. I pushed through, and I got 3 numbers. So now today I'm going to be following up with those doctors. So I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, like it's really just irritated and itchy. Now, today the no filter is also taking off the filter with myself, not just with other people. What I've realized in this journey, y'all, is that there's some things that I started off the first week with that may not necessarily work with myself today, right? So I'm taking off the filter so I can see literally what I had on the level up is still going to get completed, but maybe the steps that I was taking to get there may not necessarily work for me, and it's okay for me to adjust. Now, let me give you an example, okay? So this is no filter, right? So I've been trying to come as natural as possible in real time, which means that instead of pre-recording the daily vibrations, which I used to do, I get up in the morning, I sit with spirit, and then I record, and then they get uploaded. Now, for me, sometimes, it just takes a little longer to sit with spirit to see exactly, what the vibe is and what, what the message is and what we're going to be working on today, right? So it can be 5 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, it can be an hour, an hour and a half, what I'm noticing, however, is that schedule-wise, that doesn't really work for me, right? As much as I would like to get up and have it to be spontaneous and have it, it doesn't work for me. So I am going to have to go back to spend the time with spirit the day before, right? Sitting in the energy of the next day and really feeling out what we're going to be moving towards and what the energy and the vibe is for that day, so I can have it uploaded and not have it interfere with all of the other things on the list. Because what I'm finding, like really no filter, what I'm finding is setting it up this way makes me feel like I'm procrastinating, right? Which I told you guys is one of the things that I've had to master and not getting things done, right? So I am going to have to take off the filter and be honest with myself and said, okay, it's on the list for me to tighten up my schedule, but maybe the way that I was going about getting my schedule tight is not working, right? So I need to come up or maybe stick with a system that was working for me where my workflow was better, right? Now, taking off a filter also, right, may also be something that you may notice that you have to step up and maybe deal with, right? Taking off the filter may mean that you notice that before you have coffee in the morning, you can be a royal bitch, like you're just nasty. Now, we can blame it on the coffee, or you can literally program yourself to be nicer when you leave the house. That's just taking off the filter and being honest, right? Taking off the filter can mean that you're going to have to let your coworker know about herself because she's always projecting her negativity and not taking responsibility for her portion of the work, Taking off the filter just means, calling things out as they are, or as you perceive them to be. Now, keeping in mind that everybody may not agree with that, right? Everybody may not agree with that. Now, I want to just note this, right? This is not for you to be attacking anyone. This is not for you to be pulling out all of the swords because you have all of the receipt to make anyone feel less than. Okay, this is merely for you to be able to stand in your ground, stand in your true essence, and be who you are and live in the reality that you want to live in. Nobody gets to take your reality from you. So if you want to create a reality where everything is beautiful, peace, and you can collect all those pieces and make wholeness in your life and make sense out of the nonsense, nobody has the right to tell you differently. Okay, so yeah, today it's okay to take off the filter, but you don't have to be disrespectful or intentionally mean to anyone as you're doing so, right? And make sure you're taking off that filter with yourself, right? Now, remember, yesterday we talked about no more sacrifices, decisions, and choices, okay? No more sacrifices, decisions, and choices. And today we're taking off the filter, okay? All right, my loves, not to mention next week, okay, the lives will be starting on Wednesdays, okay, as well as the lectures are going to be starting next Saturday, okay? So keep in mind, we got 90 more days, y'all, okay? Lectures start next Wednesday, next Saturday, and the live starts next Wednesday, okay? I'm going to see you guys in tomorrow's daily vibration, my love. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, honor yourself, and yeah, enjoy your day, like make it meaningful for you. Even if nobody else wants to add to that, make it meaningful for you. Okay, bye, my loves.